One of the first things that I noticed about the NV14 as soon as I took it out of the box was that HP was really gunning after the MacBook Pro with this product. And that makes me happy as a producer that is exclusively on the PC Windows platform to be able to have that option. As you can see, it has an aluminum casing. The logo lights up when you turn it on. It's got the slot style optical drive, and it has a display port output on it. It has a multi-touch touchpad with gestures for scrolling and panning and zooming. It has the backlit keys and just really all around, even some of the customizations in the operating system and the hardware that's available for it really gives a person who wants to use a PC to DJ and produce a good option that's definitely comparable to the MacBook Pro. That's something that I would like to talk about, because that is a question that people ask me a lot, is why do I use PCs and Windows to produce music and DJ instead of using a MacBook Pro. The MacBook Pro is definitely the most popular product used in my business. And so there's a lot of reasons why I have always stuck with PCs. The biggest reason for me, I think, is the value. Cost per dollar, I get a better value with the PC than I do with the MacBook Pro. I was looking it up yesterday, and a comparable MacBook Pro with a Core i7 quad-core processor, the 8 gigs of RAM, the solid-state drive, the same size screen, and all the features that you would get in this machine, comparatively, was $1,000 more for the MacBook Pro. And I just don't believe you get that much more with OS X as opposed to Windows 7 to justify that cost difference. Personally, I prefer a higher level of customization in my computing experience. There are a lot of open source and free tools that are available that allow me to complete very simple tasks that don't need elaborate and expensive software. And these, instead of having to rely on one company to provide me with updates and so on and so forth, a lot of this stuff is supported by a large community of people just like me. And I've benefited greatly from the open source community in a lot of ways. And that's definitely been a big advantage to staying on the Windows platform. The user interface with Windows is much more customizable. I can really tweak it to work the way I want it to work, and that makes me more productive. Whereas every time I sit down in front of a MacBook Pro or an Apple product of some sort, I feel like they're trying to dictate to me what way I should use the product. And that's just not the way that I do things. If I really wanted to, I could make Windows operate similarly to Mac OS X. More so than I could do the other way around and make Mac OS X work like I'd like it to work on the Windows platform. But a lot of it has to do with preference and familiarity. I have mastered every Microsoft operating system since DOS 2.0. I prefer the amount of information and accessibility that I get with the taskbar in the start menu as opposed to the Mac system. And if there's features on the Mac interface that I want in Windows, I can get them. Uh, Windows has a much more open business model than Apple does. Their products are very, very closed down. The 90s were a very dark time for Microsoft. They had many anti-competitive practices, and Steve Jobs used to rail on Bill Gates for some of the stuff that he used to do back in the day, and I was not necessarily in agreement with everything that they were doing at the time. But since then, they've come a long way to open up the system, promote healthy competition with their competitors, and even to support more open standards. On the flip side of that, Steve Jobs is now guilty of doing a lot of the same things that he used to yell at Bill Gates for in the 90s. And I find that to be a regression of where this industry should be going in the long run. So while Apple is busy filing broad and ambiguous patents and suing their competitors, Microsoft is actually opening up their system, creating open standards that they're registering with IEEE, and even licensing technology from their competitors instead of just stealing it. And I definitely think that the two companies have really reversed their roles in this industry a lot. Microsoft has been driving innovation in the PC market for more than 30 years now, and they did that by promoting and supporting OEMs. Windows and Linux were at the forefront of all of the hardware that we have in our computers today. Apple only recently decided to adopt the Intel platform, but because they closed the system down and they don't allow competition among OEMs, they don't drive the innovation. We would not have 64-bit processors, blazing fast front-side bus speeds, ridiculously fast video cards, high-speed connections for peripherals. We simply wouldn't have that if it weren't for the competition and innovation for companies that were fighting over my business because of the fact that I use Windows. From a music production standpoint, there's really nothing I can do with a Mac that I can't do on a PC. Traditionally, one of the most popular pieces of software that was available for Mac was Logic, and it's not available on Windows. It's a great program, but there are many options for the Windows platform that are just as capable and just as viable. The only producers that I know who still use Logic are the ones who have been using it for a long time, and even a lot of them are using it less and turning more towards the newer platforms, Ableton, Pro Tools, and I'm not seeing a lot of newcomers that are coming into the business that are adopting Logic and using Logic, especially right off the bat. So Ableton is growing in popularity and is becoming very widely used in the industry, and I find that with Ableton I can go from using a PC to a Mac and switch between the two platforms very easily without a big learning curve on learning the differences between the two platforms. My needs and preferences are unique. Not everyone is an advanced user like I am. Most people are end users. They want to sit down in front of their laptop, they want to open it up, turn it on, and they want it to work. And they want to dig into the software and get right to work without having to think about it. And I can understand how that would be advantageous to a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to have to worry about using ASIO drivers as compared to using WDM drivers, and I can see the benefits that Apple products provide to the people who are familiar with it and prefer to use it. This is not for them. This is just an affirmation to all the PC users out there that there's nothing holding you back. There's nothing that you cannot do that you would be able to do if you switched over to the MacBook Pro or a Apple product of some sort. There's nothing wrong with you if you use a PC to produce music. So in that sense, I just want to encourage everyone out there who's using Windows to continue to stay with that platform and to enjoy the benefits of using that. Please visit iCroptic.com and check out the home studio discussion thread. We are trying to create a community of PC-based music producers and DJs for a more tech-oriented discussion on the products that we use, the hardware, the software, synthesizers, modifications, hacks, and stuff like that. So please feel free to join in the discussion, and thanks for watching this video. Peace.